I mean, my approach to any kind of writing of any novel is to write it to the best possible reader, because otherwise you won't write the best possible novel. And you must never, also learned something else, you must never, as a writer, try and guess the line you're not supposed to cross. Because if you try to guess it, you probably guess it wrong, because as the Buddha tells us, we can't foresee the future. And I think I had this early experience very early with Funny Boy, because when I was writing it, the government who was in power at that time, I was criticizing them in the book, and it also had a gay theme. So I didn't think I could come back for a while, so I came back and did the research on Cinnamon Gardens before the book came out, and then lo and behold, it was this success, and the government changed. So you can't predict what's going to happen in the future, and so I don't really allow myself to consider that when I'm writing, because I'll write a very bad book.
I welcomed, I followed your behemoth from the holy city of Kandy to this cesspool of crime they call Colombo. My question is this, would it be possible in future editions to have that somewhere in the frontispiece or in the back front, wherever, that this is a book about the perceptions and feelings of the wife of Siddhartha? The only reason I'm saying this is we do not issue fatwas, and the Khomeini is dead.
But the book does actually have an introduction. It has an introduction that explains, because I felt I had to explain, frankly, to the Sri Lankan reader who'd be like, why is this guy writing this book? So I does have an introduction that explains my own journey towards Buddhism, but also then my engagement. A lot of what I've actually said right now is actually in the introduction.
Do we have another question?
Oh, yeah, all the way over there.
Shyam, congratulations on your new book. I was thrilled with the theme of it. I wanted to, are you aware of the German writer Steppenwolf, who wrote the book Siddhartha?
You mean Hermann Hesse? Yes.
Sorry, Hermann Hesse.
Yeah, I read it, and it's not really about Siddhartha. It's not about the Buddha. It's about this character named Siddhartha, and to be honest, I know a lot of people like to think. I thought it was a bit dated. Particularly in its kind of testosterone-driven kind of, hey man, I'm going to let everything go and search the world. No wonder the Beats and people like that love it. I mean, so there was a kind of way in which I didn't, I found that the book wasn't for me, but I did read it obviously because I wanted to know what he had done, and I also, I mean, the writer who was very influential for me was this writer, Mary Renault, who's a huge success in the 60s and 70s, and now is unknown. But she wrote about Alexander the Great, and she, just the way she inhabits that world and she's also taking just kind of fragments, and the way she inhabits that world was a lesson for me in how to also inhabit a world from which we have just fragments.
Shall we ask Shyam to do another reading, or are there any other burning questions?
Burning questions. Yeah. Okay. So this is much later in the book, and it's one of the sermons that the women give. And the word mitto means friends, huh? And it's given by Mitta. Mitta frowns, staring at the earth, tapping it with a finger while she gathers her thoughts. Finally, she looks up and, beginning in the traditional way of orators and storytellers, says, "This I have heard, Mitto. A woman thinking a river to be calm and peaceful enters it with a blissful mind, intending to cleanse and rejuvenate herself. Yet, the moment she has waded into deeper waters, she gets caught in a strong current beneath the surface and is swept away. Helpless, she watches as the surge carries her downstream. Helpless, she watches her clothes on the bank become specks in the distance. After some time, however, the river narrows, the banks are much closer, and she sees there is grass, sawgrass, reeds, creepers, and bushes all hanging into the river. As she goes past the grass, she tries to cling to it, but it breaks off in her hand. She clings to the sawgrass next, but it cuts her hand. She clings to the creepers, even the bushes, but they give way, and she is carried along by the river to her inevitable end. So it is with us, Mitto. For the river is the worldly life into which we enter, seeking comfort, only to be swept along towards our death. The grass, which is physical form of all kinds, our loved ones, our wealth, breaks because it's the nature of physical things to break and wear out and age and be lost, including our own bodies. The sawgrass with its knife-sharp edges represents our feelings, and they cut us, causing such great suffering. The creepers are slippery and also break easily. They are human activity which produces no permanent result or effect, which we can grasp onto and prevent ourselves being swept along the river of life to our inevitable end. And the bush, which is surely the strongest of the plants along that shore, also cannot be clung to because it comes out at the roots. The bush is our consciousness that is always with us and appears so permanent, but yet also dies with our body. Mita now falls silent, gazing at the ground. Then she begins to speak again, explaining how the middle way might offer, through the Eightfold Path, a way out of the prison of their human existence. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Shayan Salvadore.